Hello, Talbot County. Thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate all that is possible if we support excellence in public education. I want to thank the Education Foundation Board, the Mission Possible Committee for adapting, or as we say in Talbot County Public Schools, pivoting in response to the continued challenges presented by the pandemic. I know we're all ready for COVID-19 to be behind us, but health and safety must be a priority. Congratulations to our 2020 and 2021 distinguished alumni who were selected because of their outstanding professional accomplishments, their commitment to giving back to their communities, and their belief in the support of public education. While the Education Foundation had hoped to recognize them in person this year, we are grateful to have them with us virtually to share their remarks about how their TCPS education impacted their lives. And hopefully you are enjoying your own refreshments at home as you watch. Thank you for your continued support of the Education Foundation. And now I'd like to introduce a real great friend of mine from Easton Middle School days, Mrs. Tot O'Mara, a member of the Easton High School class of 1967, who will serve as our Mistress of Ceremonies. Take it from here, Tot.
Thank you, Dr. Griffith, and good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2021 COVID version of the Talbot Public Schools Foundation Celebration of Distinguished Alumni. My name is Tot O'Mara, and unfortunately I will be serving this year as a masker of ceremonies rather than a master of ceremonies. In an effort to keep everyone in good health, we have delivered the ultimate in social distancing. You are in your home and I am in cyberspace. I like to call it an adventure in co-videography. There I go. While I hope this is a success, I don't want it to go viral. Enough with the viral. But in the spirit of making lemonade out of lemons, we have brewed up a delicious evening where you can learn about our distinguished alumni from both 2020 and 2021. We have met with each of the honorees to get their story. While our alumni are varied in their success, they share one attribute that is especially commendable in these trying times. They have all faced challenges and found ways to roll with the punches and come out on top. As you learn about these 6 exceptional people, prepare to be inspired and impressed. It has been our pleasure to prepare this video, and we hope it will be your pleasure to view it this evening. Often when doing something like this live, you can tell when the audience gets a little weary and move things along. But with this format, we can just go on and on. Just kidding, don't worry. Now, on with the show. Our first honoree from 2020 is Robert Rao, Easton High School class of 1969. An Easton boy, Bob graduated from Easton High in 1969 and went on to the University of Maryland. He left the university with 2 very meaningful things that would lead to a successful life: his bachelor science degree in civil engineering and his having met Dale, who became his wife and mother of their 2 sons, Casey and Dustin. Bob started out working for the Maryland Department of Natural Resources and then Talbot County as its first Director of Public Works and as the county engineer. As he gained experience, he turned to the private sector and is now president of Rao Incorporated. He has served on many boards, including the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, the National Society of Professional Engineers, and the American Society of Civil Engineers. With his success has come recognition by many organizations, including Talbot County Chamber of Commerce, the University of Maryland, and the Office of the Governor of Delaware. With Bob's leadership, Rao Incorporated's considerable workforce, that includes his 2 sons, has provided a multitude of site development service for projects guided by a mission defined as design, develop, sustain, and protect. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Robert D. Rao.
I really am very excited to reflect back on my years in the Talbot County Public School System. I am a huge supporter of our system. I've had the tremendous pleasure and great opportunity to have experienced just about every aspect that Talbot County Schools provided, not only in their programs but also in the facilities. I started my public school education at the Hanson Road School. We then moved to Idlewild School, and I enjoyed 2nd through 6th grade in Idlewild School, and being the captain of the crossing guard was just, you couldn't believe how great that was. Then we moved over to the Oxford Road School, which was 7th through 12th. So then on came Mecklenburg, and we were the first class to go completely through Mecklenburg from 10th through 12th. The high school years, the 10th through 12th, that's an experience in a public school system in particular that was incredibly valuable to me in my life and where I've been. Our public school system gave us a chance to be part of and experience all areas of life. People of different social backgrounds, races, economic levels. It was just natural. Everybody was part of that group, and it was a slice of life that a lot of students that go to other schools where you have sort of a much narrower cross-section of people don't really get to experience. I'd be lying if I said every moment in the high school years were exciting and fun. They weren't. You experience ups, you experience downs. That's part of the public school system benefits. I had some outstanding teachers that were really responsible in keeping me focused on the directions that I wanted to go. My preferences to the sciences, to the STEM topics. In particular, Mr. Lohr teaching his chemistry classes. I had him not only as a chemistry teacher, but also as a homeroom teacher. And his influence was terrific in keeping me focused in that regards. And then Mr. Hendon was my physics teacher. And he was just an exceptional teacher and supporter of all the kids and where we wanted to go. The math courses, everybody knew Mrs. Orban, and Mrs. Orban gave us an opportunity to get exposed to calculus before many kids in any of the systems got to be involved. So having that privilege to be able to participate in those, it was a big help, because as I went on to the University of Maryland to pursue an engineering degree, having had that introduction to calculus not only saved me a couple of early coursework in my curriculum, but it really prepared me well for it. As a huge fan, it goes beyond just my experiences. My wife taught middle school, elementary and middle school for 30 years. We had the great pleasure and benefit and opportunity to move back here, and so I could have a career and raise my family. Both of my sons went through the complete public school system. Well, now we're into generation 3, and my grandson, two grandsons that are in school, are going through the public school system, and my older grandson, Brady, just entered 6th grade or in the middle school. Obviously, I can't say enough about our programs, the teachers, and how it's affected me. Being able to raise my family here, have them do it, it set me up for my career in engineering. One of the other advantages, you have the opportunity to meet and establish lifelong friends. Many people that go through our school system grew up in Easton and Talbot County, came back here. I made several lifelong lasting friendships, and just give a few of them that shout out: Scott, Chip, Paul, all friends that I have been able to maintain throughout my life.
Thank you, Bob. And I'm glad somebody liked calculus class. Our next honoree is Mr. Walter W. Black Jr., a graduate of Robert Rosa Moton High School, class of 1954. Walter Weldon Black Jr. wasted no time in making a name for himself. Graduating from Moton High School in 1954 as a class salutatorian, he was awarded a full scholarship to Morgan State College, where he impressed not only his future bride, Claire Dean, but his fellow students and faculty as well, selecting him to be in Who's Who among students at American universities and colleges. After serving his country as an officer in the United States Army, Mr. Black has continued to serve his country by being a lifelong civil rights advocate and community activist in the pursuit of racial equality and race relations. Mr. Black's talents and devotion to his cause have been recognized, and he has served in many leadership positions. He has served as Executive Director of the Maryland NAACP and as President of the Talbot County Branch. He was appointed to the Maryland Advisory Committee to the United States Commission on Civil Rights. Mr. Black has served Talbot County as Vice President of the Talbot County Board of Elections, a member and chairman of the Board of the Neighborhood Service Center, and many other leadership positions. His service has been recognized with the presentation of more than a few awards, included among his collection the NAACP Freedom Fighter Award and the Frederick Douglass Award from Talbot County NAACP. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Walter Black.
Good evening. I thank the Education Foundation for this very prestigious recognition and selection as a distinguished alumnus. All hail to thee, old Moton. We give our thanks to thee for giving us the courage to serve humanity. Those are a few of the lyrics that Naomi Goldsboro, Moton class of 1948, included in her composition of the alma mater song for Robert Russell Moton School in Eastern Maryland. I was fortunate to have been a student at Moton from grades 4 through 12, having graduated in June 1954. Now I realize that was a long time ago. I thank our teachers for providing me with an education which served as a solid foundation for my life. I thank our teachers for always encouraging and inspiring Moton students to sail on the ship of ambition and land on the shore of success. Yes, our teachers taught us math, science, English, and other subjects that were an integral part of the school curriculum. But that's not all. Our teachers at Moton prepared us to live, exist, and excel in a society of legalized racial segregation and discrimination in which we live. Despite a society that treated black citizens as we were second-class citizens, Moton teachers instilled in us pride, self-esteem, and to be proud because we were somebody. For this, I am forever grateful. I thank my mother, the late Dorothy Webb Black, for always encouraging me and to always put my best foot forward. I thank my mother for always being a very positive role model. I thank my mother for setting the example of being a community activist and dedicated servant of humanity. After graduating from Moton, I attended Morgan State College in Baltimore. My inspiration for doing that was one, my mother, who from the time that I was in the sixth grade always said that I was going to go to college. Now, of course, I didn't know how I was going to get there financially, but she said I was going. I also was inspired by teachers at Moton who would ask, what are you going to do after graduation from high school? I also was inspired by other Moton students who went to college and would come home during the Christmas New Year holiday if it let out before the high school did, and they'd come down to the school for a few days, and I was inspired by that. That gave me motivation to want to go to school. Now, after I became a student at Morgan, I knew that not only was my mother expecting me to succeed, but also my teachers at Moton. I remember Miss Gaines, one of our Moton teachers, who asked me the time that I returned to Moton right after this first semester at Morgan. And Moton School had not let out. And she asked me what was my final grades for the first semester. And I said, Miss Gaines, I got a 2.7 on the 4-point system. And Miss Gaines responded with a frown on her face. And I knew that she was dissatisfied with that grade. I'd gone through high school all the way, having been on the honor roll. At that time, I realized that failure was not an option for me. And as I burned the midnight oil up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, my motivation was thinking about what I felt was expected of me by my mother and good old Moton. Perseverance paid off. In addition to what has been previously mentioned, during my senior year at Morgan, I became the president of Alpha Phi Alpha College chapter. I received the Wall Street Journal Student Achievement Award, which was awarded to only one student out of a graduating class. I received the Second Mahler Award, which was also presented to only one student in the graduating class. And that award was given for a student who went beyond the call of duty. And also, I graduated with honors. During my career, after graduation, I focused on business and civil rights and being a community activist. So, as I conclude, once again, all hail to thee, old Moton. I give my thanks to thee for giving me the courage to serve humanity.
Thank you, Mr. Black. You have indeed sailed the ship of ambition and landed on the shore of success. To paraphrase the Moton song, Talbot County gives our thanks to thee, Mr. Black. Our third 2020 distinguished alumni is Chaldine Brooks, St. Michael's High School, class of 1968. Chaldine Brooks attended the former Frederick Douglass Elementary School in St. Michael's and started her high school education at Moton High School. She returned to St. Michael's as a transfer to St. Michael's High School, where she graduated in 1968. She continued her education at Chesapeake College and the Baltimore Institute. Fortunately for Talbot County, Ms. Brooks used her considerable talents here at home. She worked for the Talbot County Health Department for 17 years. She then became program coordinator of Brooklet's Place, the Talbot County Senior Center. In 2014, she was appointed manager of the Senior Center and continues as such today. Her considerable professional efforts are matched, if not surpassed, by her vast history of volunteer work. In addition to her mission work as a lifelong member of the new St. John's United Methodist Church, she has served as a member of the board of several local service organizations. Some of the many organizations benefiting from her wisdom and leadership are CASA of the Midshore, Talbot Hospice, Frederick Douglass Honor Society, Day 100 Community Volunteers, and the NAAC Talbot County Branch. In addition to many other board positions, Ms. Brooks has been a member of Bright with Pride Temple 1375 of the Improved Benevolent and Protector Order of Elks of the World, Incorporated. For 48 years, she has served the Elks in various leadership roles. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Chaldine Brooks.
I'd like to thank the Education Foundation for considering me worthy of this award. I often tell people I don't do things to be recognized for them, but I do them just because I feel like it's my commitment. There's an old song that says, "May the work I've done speak for me," and that's what I wanted to do, speak for me, not to be put out in public or not to be recognized for anything that I've done. I really would like to thank the Education Foundation, though, for thinking that I am worthy of this award as an alumni of St. Michael's High School. I started out at Frederick Douglass Elementary School, then transitioned to Moton High School. And during that time, of course, we had the African American teachers that were always behind us. They were pushing us to try to become and do the best that we could, no matter what we were doing. So I think that made a very big impact on my life. That, along with the fact that my mother would always say, if you're going to do something, do it right. And so that it makes me really look at what I'm doing and trying to do the best that I can do in the community. We were blessed to have some very, very good teachers at both Frederick Douglass and at Moton. And when I transferred to St. Michael's, I can say that we had some good teachers. I can remember one in particular, Mr. Clean, who would always talk about becoming involved in the community and doing good in the community. So the education that I received at the schools was very good. Of course, it was hard when we had to transfer because we let all of our friends behind. And but we did make some new friends. We were able to fellowship with them, and we still remain close as I speak now. We had a reunion a couple years ago, and it was so good to see everybody and see what they're doing. But I think that being a product of this system has been one of the best things that has ever happened to me. Well, ours was the first fully integrated class that graduated in '68. In '67, there was one African American female that was in that class, and she had transferred out of Moton a couple of years earlier. She lived in St. Michael's. But I think there was about 8 to 10 of us. I would have to really go back and think about it. And Thelma Jones was our principal at Frederick Douglass, and she was really stern. And you had to go by the books with her. They were all good teachers. They encouraged us. They encouraged us to learn. They encouraged us to do the best that we could and to make sure that we were, if we were out sick, they didn't mind making sure that we got our homework or if we missed class. I can remember there was a period of time when my father had died and my mother was really sick, and I was missing some school. And so they were really concerned, and they came to see what was going on and made sure that I got back into school to get the education that I needed. At Moton, there was Mr. Fauntleroy, who was the principal, Miss Francis, who was the vice principal, Mr. Shields, her and Miss Henson, and there were so many, Mr. Foster, you know, there were so many that helped. And Mr. Stanley Caldwell was our bus driver, and he made sure, I mean, you know, because we were attending the same church and he knew us and whatever, if we were not out there at that bus stop, he would be calling, you know, having someone call, because of course they didn't have cell phones and all that. He was like, okay, where are you? Why are you not out here? You know, and when you got on that bus, you had to have a seat. You did not do a whole lot of talking. You didn't do any moving around. I mean, he would put you off the bus if you were not doing what you were supposed to do. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there are some really good memories. I'd like to thank everyone again for this opportunity. And I'd also like to congratulate the 2020 honorees, which I'm a part of the class, and the 2021 honorees as well. So thank you all so very much.
Ms. Brooks, please know that your work has indeed spoken loud and clear. Moving on to our 2021 class of distinguished alumni, we have Ms. Casey and Sepp, Easton High School class of 2003. Casey Sepp is our first honoree who graduated in the 21st century as a member of the class of 2003. From Easton High, she went north, and upon graduation from Harvard, she studied as a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford University, where she earned a Master's of Philosophy. Hitting the ground running after her education, she has assembled quite a collection of published work. She is currently a staff writer at the New Yorker magazine and has had work appear in impressive publications such as the New York Times, the Paris Review, and the New Republic. In 2020, the ALCS, Authors, Licensing, and Collecting Society, awarded her the Gold Dagger Award for nonfiction. Ms. Sepp's talents, obvious to the faculty in Talbot County, became widely appreciated when her first book, Furious Hours, Murder, Fraud, and the Last Trial of Harper Lee, was an instant New York Times bestseller. Such an accomplishment at an early age makes us hunger for more. Ms. Sepp has moved back to the shore and resides in Caroline County with her wife, Catherine Schultz, and their baby daughter, Lila Rose. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Casey Sepp.
Hi, it's an honor to be recognized as one of the distinguished alums. I can't think of anything that would be more meaningful than being recognized by the public schools. I feel incredibly grateful to all of the hardworking teachers and janitors and support staff and librarians who made sure that I had a wonderful experience pre-K through 12th grade. I'm actually such a dinosaur that I came through Cordova, Upper County, a year at Mount Pleasant during the construction, Chapel District, Easton Middle, and then Easton High School. So there are a lot of folks I remember, Miss Wilson in the library at Cordova, Mrs. Cook in the library at Easton, they always had just the right book to read, Mr. Cooper in the hallways, making sure everyone felt safe and that things were orderly, Miss Reed and Miss Gay, who taught us word choice and grammar and all the things that I use every day in my life as a writer. Mr. Bryan, who threw around points and prizes for every kind of geographical and historical fact you could imagine, and Miss Stamer, who made calculus seem as easy as apple pie. I just think back with such gratitude to all of those folks who came to work every day to make sure that, just as the motto says, we all could learn and grow and succeed. I'm actually a second generation TCPS grad. My dad graduated from Easton, so did my older sister and my younger sister. Caitlin is actually a special educator right at Chapel District where we all came through elementary school. So we feel incredibly connected to the public schools, and actually my wife and her family they feel the same way about the schools in Shaker Heights, Ohio, where she's from. We're huge champions of public education and really just feel tremendously committed to the cause. So it's really an honor to be recognized this way, especially when I think about the last 2 years, which have been so trying for teachers and parents and for students themselves. Not to mention for the whole school system, a tremendous amount of new technology to buy and master, new safety protocols to take care of. And I just think the last 2 years have shown over and over again the resilience of public schools and the necessity of them. I just think about the pandemic and how, critical it was for students to get, the learning experiences they need, and how wonderful it's been as we've returned to in-person education for all of the families to get the services they need and just students to be looked after the way that teachers and all the staff of TCPS do. So it's really a wonderful time to be honored in this way. And for me personally, I just had a baby, and I think about my daughter and the kind of educational experiences I want for her. And I don't know if Lila Rose will be lucky enough to come through TCPS, but I certainly know it's the standard by which I would judge any other school system. So it's an honor to be recognized as a distinguished alum and a pleasure to support the Education Foundation, which I hope will be around for many, many more years, taking care of all the students in Talbot County. Thanks so much.
Congratulations, Casey. I am sure I am not the only one of my generation of Easton High students who would have loved to have witnessed a conversation between you and our very talented Easton High English teacher, Dorothy Leonard. On a personal side, I am so glad to finally have something in common with one of the honorees. We were both Oxford scholars. Yeah, I did my homework at 209 Morris Street in Oxford every night. Our next 2021 honoree is Miss Gladys Giddens. graduate of Moton High class of 1960. Gladys Giddens, inspired by the teacher she had at Moton High School, earned a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education from Bowie State College in 1964. She later followed that up with a Master of Education in Elementary Administration and Supervision from Bowie State in 1978. She has used her degrees and life experiences to mold a stellar career in education. Having started her career as a teacher in Queen Anne's County in 1964, Talbot County Public Schools was lucky enough to redeem its native daughter and enjoy her talents for 32 years until her retirement in 1996. Over that time, she served as a teacher, administrator, vice principal, and as a supervisor of instruction and curriculum coordinator. Not one to rest when the bell rang, Ms. Giddens has led a life of service to the community. A few of her volunteer activities include her service as treasurer and a member of the executive board of the NAACP Talbot branch. She is also a Golden Life member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, Eastern Region. As a member of Seroptimus International of Talbot County, she has served not only as secretary, but vice president and president. She served as a member of the board of directors of Easton Memorial Hospital and as a member of the Trial Court Judicial Nominating Committee. With a resume such as hers, it has not been unusual to see her the recipient of many awards. To highlight a few, the Talbot branch of NAACP has awarded her a Lifetime Achievement for her community service and projects in education, the President's Award, and its highest honor, the Harriet Tubman Medal. This award is given to an outstanding woman who has unselfishly promoted social justice and enhanced the educational, economic, political, social, and cultural status of all minority groups. Lucky for us all, Ms. Giddens continues to reside in Easton, where she continues her community service and takes pride in the accomplishments of her nephew and nieces. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Gladys Giddens.
I am truly honored to be selected as the alumnus representing Robert Russell Moton Junior Senior High School, which was dedicated on November 15, 1953. The class of 1960 was the 6th class that graduated from this school on Glenwood Avenue. I have been able to put off being selected by saying to the other representative, I think we should recognize the oldest among us. Then I might say yes. He let me go for 2 years. And here he started up again this year. You will be the nominee. And I said no again. Then Debbie came and asked had we chosen someone, also sharing that someone in her committee said they would like to see Gladys Giddens recognized. And everybody said yes. I didn't say anything. I didn't agree then, but I'm here because I'm being obedient to the cause. I am a person of a few words to say, especially when it's about me. I was raised to believe that let what you do speak for you. On 2 other occasions, this same thing happened. My friends and a relative selected me for an award which I knew nothing about until my name was called. This time, I can say, I know about this one. Mr. Black had a part in both of those 2 occasions. While in junior high school, I began taking music lessons. My goal was to prepare me to help at church with the Sunday school, the Bible school, and even the church if needed. I had some memories to share about attending Moton High School. I joined the Glee Club, another surprise. Our music teacher had to leave for a program, and the Glee Club was to perform. He informed me just before the program that you will conduct the choir. I was shocked, but I was obedient. Other organizations that I participated in included the Honor Society, the Tri-High Y Club, Teachers of America, and I was on the yearbook committee. Our physical education teacher started a group that jumped rope as a team. We learned how to perform together during different situations. We performed at local activities, and the one that I can remember the most was when we were performing at Maryland State College in Princess Anne, Maryland. My teachers always encouraged us to do our best, complete our work, do our homework, study, and know that what you have earned cannot be taken from you. Moton High School prepared me with the background knowledge that I needed to continue my education in college. My high school education and my experiences in my church helped me to decide what my career goal would be, which was to become a teacher. I began my teaching career in Queen Anne's County, and I retired here in Talbot County in 1996 as a curriculum coordinator. Thank you for the opportunity to represent Moton High School in this manner.
Thank you, Ms. Giddens. We are very happy that you agreed to accept the award that you have definitely earned. And thanks also to your persistent sponsors and supporters. Our final honoree is Mr. Gary J. Jones, class of 1965, St. Michael's High School. Gary Jones continued his education after graduation, attaining an Associate Arts degree from Chesapeake College and a Bachelor's in Healthcare Administration from the University of Maryland. He was also a doctoral candidate in Human Development and Neurophysiology. With his training, Mr. Jones was licensed as a respiratory care practitioner in Maryland, a care practitioner registered through the National Board, and a Fellow of the American College of Cardiovascular Administrators. During his career in Talbot County, he recognized the need for pre-hospital cardiac care. He volunteered as a member of the Advanced Life Support Provider crew and provided coverage in Talbot County 24/7, 365 days a year. He was instrumental in working toward the paid advanced life support services we have in the county today. Over his career, he provided instruction and mentoring to many. To unwind when his shift was over, Gary played in many local bands. Sadly, the barefoot drummer passed away suddenly in June of this year, leaving Ruth Ann, his wife of 45 years, his children and grandchildren, and the citizens of Talbot County to mourn his passing. Fortunately for us, his wife has agreed to accept his honor for him and let us in on the life and times of Mr. Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruth Ann Jones.
I'm so honored to have been asked to say a few words on behalf of Gary regarding this award. I'm not sure I will do him justice, but I will try. Gary was always someone who could speak for hours without notes or any preparation, whether to the fourth graders through character counts, teaching respiratory students or paramedics, or giving a talk to board members or physicians. He was a natural at public speaking. He always knew the right words to say. Gary grew up in Whitman, Maryland, and was proud to be a true local. He always made it a point to let people know about his family, who were proud boat builders for generations. He attended elementary school in Tillman and middle and high school at St. Michael's. He was proud to say he was an alumnus of St. Michael's High. I can remember him telling me often how he really hated school because it was something he had to do, but he loved his teachers, his friends, sports, especially cross country, and most of all, the high school band. He often said that his church, his parents, and school laid a solid foundation for his life and shaped the person he became in adulthood. Probably quite a surprise to many of the teachers at St. Michael's High based on the report cards I've seen. Gary loved his community, and he was very fortunate to have found a profession early in life that he truly loved, as evidenced by his 50-year career at Memorial Hospital at Easton, later known as University of Maryland Shore Regional Health, serving 3 hospitals, a freestanding emergency department, and many outpatient services throughout the 5-county region. The hospital was like a second family to him. He was always so eager and excited to go to work. He was so fortunate to do what he loved and what he was so good at. He was so proud of the work he accomplished and the new programs he developed so that people in our communities would be able to receive quality, state-of-the-art cardiac care close to home without having to travel to Annapolis or Salisbury. As one of the Talbot Paramedic Foundation board members wrote to me, he was a giant in getting things done at Shore Regional Health and within the medical community simply because of his tremendous respect from everyone. He was admired for his quiet intellect and medical knowledge. It was a true honor of Gary's career to be named the first director of the Heart and Vascular Center. He was also proud of the work he and the 4 other original all-volunteer paramedics accomplished in starting the first advanced life support services for the Mid-Shore that later morphed into the proud services we have today. If he were here today accepting this award, he would be thanking his parents, his family, and his hospital family and friends for their guidance and support throughout the 50-year career. I only wish he could be the one here accepting the award today. I am sure he is looking down on us now with great pride and a huge smile. Gary, you will always be in our hearts, and I promise you that your legacy will live on.
When learning of the accomplishment of our honorees, it can sometimes take your breath away. But Mr. Jones did the opposite. As a giver and provider of breath and life, a life well lived.
Congratulations to our distinguished alumni. They are all outstanding examples of what can be accomplished if our community continues its support of excellence in public education. We hope you will also enjoy learning about some of the innovative teacher grant requests that the Education Foundation has worked very hard to fund. None of us would be where we are today without the hard work and dedication of those special individuals who choose teaching as their vocation. Here are a few examples of the innovation, enthusiasm, and commitment that Talbot County Public School educators bring to their schools every day.
Well, I'm Dawn Robinson, and I am a music teacher here at Easton Elementary School. And I just wanted to say thank you to the Education Foundation and everyone who supports them by allowing teachers to do some extra innovative projects within their class. This year, I was allowed to purchase a program called Drums Alive, in addition to the actual Drums Alive program, which does allow me to become a certified Drums Alive instructor. It focuses on musical ability, but also on physical education, as well as mental health and well-being. We're doing a lot of mindful activities with it. It includes drumming things with exercise balls, but also drumsticks and boom whackers and scarves. You can use them all together or separately. It's also allowed me to do some things with my classes that I wouldn't normally be able to do within the curriculum and in addition to the curriculum. We have something called Bambini Beats, where I was allowed to purchase in addition to the regular supplies, which made it accessible to our youngest learners, as well as Ability Beats, which makes our program and our equipment accessible to our special needs students of all kinds of populations. And being able to bring that all together as a school has just been amazing. Being able to work with our 3-year-olds all the way through our 5th graders and have students really be excited and energized about something that's different and something that's special, but but that's also really fundamental to their well-being and to their musical knowledge and to where that leads to in the future, connecting them to school. So hopefully we'll find some people to keep continuing to support educators and our students, being able to do some creative and innovative things that they might not get to experience otherwise.
Hi, I'm Chris Rayner. I teach physics, AP Physics, and Earth Systems at Easton High School. So I want to thank the Education Foundation for the grant that allowed me to purchase these sensors for my physics class. It allows the students to take the information that they're working with, the concepts they're working with, and the skills they're working with, and really to the next level. To be able to manipulate data, collect actual data from the events they're seeing, instead of just having to rely on equations from a textbook or YouTube videos, even just me telling them this. They can actually collect the data themselves, interpret that, and make connections to things that they've already, prior knowledge that they already have from other classes, as well as to the new content that they're learning about as well.
Hi, my name is Deontay Henson. I'm the advisor for Best Brothers Learning Success Together. I just want to say thank you to the Educational Foundation for granting our scholarship for carrying the kids through the HBCUs. It was a great experience for the kids. Everybody enjoyed themselves, and we actually have a couple of students who are going to HBCUs. I just want to say thank you again.
Hi, my name is Rachel Carr. I'm the school counselor at St. Michael's Middle High School. I work with grades 6 through 9. I applied for the Educational Foundation grant so that I was able to take my 9th grade students to a 4-year college to visit the school. We had a tour of the campus. We received some information about financial aid, how to apply, just a lot of information, good information that the students needed about Salisbury University.
Hi, my name is Abby Keswick. I'm one of the physical education teachers here at Easton Elementary School. This fall, along with 2 other special education teachers, we were able to create an exceptional unified sports team here at Easton Elementary. This is a new program that we were able to start with funds from the Education Foundation. We had approximately 20 students participate at Idlewild Park over 6 weeks. We played modified kickball games. We also had high school students helping, and we look forward to a basketball season in the winter and a bowling session in the spring.
Hi, my name is Amanda Leffler, and I'm a music teacher at Chapel District Elementary School. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much to the Education Foundation for funding my grant for a class set of ukuleles. I was looking for something for us to be able to do actually when we were still on carts and in classrooms, and I attended a virtual conference on how to safely have ukuleles walk around to classrooms, but now I'm back in my classroom, so it makes it even more meaningful to have yet another instrument for the kids to be able to play. Ukulele is such a great lifelong instrument because of the amount of strings on it. It's so easily accessible to little hands, and it's so affordable that if students want to continue on, it's around $20 for them to buy one for themselves, and then they'll be a lifelong trained musician. So I'm so incredibly thankful to have this opportunity for the students here at Chapel District Elementary.
On behalf of the Education Foundation Board, I would like to thank you all for joining us tonight. I would also like to thank our sponsors and donors for their support during this very challenging time. Please consider supporting excellence in public education in Talbot County by making a donation now. Your gifts may be made in honor of one or all of our distinguished alumni. We certainly hope to be able to celebrate in person together next year, but until then, please have a great holiday season with your families and friends.